I'm right there with you. I put my face in my palms because I realized I have Jonathan Taylor in two completely different spots on my list. So we'll get to that in a second.
You said he wasn't even in your top 25.
We'll get to that when we get to him. But number 20, I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, CEH. Um, I don't really like putting rookies in my top 25 or even above number 20 because it's very tough to tell. But I put him here because he's definitely going to be the number one back in Kansas City's offense. They like to run the ball a good amount, maybe 40% of the time. And I'm very excited to see what he can do. Obviously, I thought DeAndre Swift would have been a better fit over there, but it
No,
is what it
I
is.
thought that. I thought that. Don't steal
Everyone.
my words.
Well, we can't have the same thoughts. So,
I'm
Clyde,
just playing with you.
yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire should be pretty good in the offense of what team am I talking about? The Kansas City Chiefs.
Kip, who do you got at 20?
Okay, apologize for any background noise. My wife came in here with my baby.
Hey, that's life, Kip.
Some
That's
cuteness
life.
coming in here. 20, I've got James Conner. Not too much to add, but when this dude's on the field, you can go out there and give you a top 5 performance. So that's nothing to ignore. And the Steelers' O-line has always been incredible. So
And they're upgrading at quarterback. Big Ben is an upgrade over what they've had last year as long as he can stay healthy. So that's a big upgrade. 20 for me is Melvin Gordon. This is the guy who I think is a top 12 running back talent, but he also has to contend with Philip Lindsay, and Royce Freeman will still probably get some touches in that offense. He's a better talent than where he's listed, but it's a downgrade going from the Chargers to the Denver Broncos.
A little bit so. Now here comes the point where I make myself look like an absolute buffoon. This is where I have Jonathan Taylor right here, number 19. After I said
If you rewind the tape like 7 minutes, he said he doesn't have Jonathan Taylor in his top 25.
Not sure.
edit that out.
Not sure what I was thinking there. Jonathan Taylor's easily going to be the lead back in Indianapolis. Not a lot of competition there. I know Marlon Mack's still there.
I disagree with that.
I know Marlon Mack's still there, but I imagine Jonathan Taylor takes the job there pretty quickly. Yeah, I think Jonathan Taylor ends up doing really well this season. Just above CEH because, rookies, I don't know how they're going to project how they end up turning out, but his talent is definitely up there.
Okay, at 19, I have David Johnson. David Johnson, an aging RB superstar who always seems to get injured in the first game of the season. But I think he's talented, and I think that Houston will actually use him and put him in a nice role. So I think he lands at an RB2 here.
I agree with you, Kip. I got David Johnson at 19. It's almost like we're psychic. This is another huge upside, Garrett. He goes to the Texans. They gave up a lot for him, and technically they gave up DeAndre Hopkins for him. So Bill O'Brien, they're going to try to feed David Johnson the ball. I'm already flaking on the name right now. Who was the Cleveland Browns running back? Duke Johnson. He's their pass catcher there, but I think David Johnson's first and second down easily, and he can catch the ball on the backfield. A couple of years ago, he was almost 1,000. David Johnson, huge upside. Will he return to form? I don't know. That's why he's down as the low-end RB2.
I do not have David Johnson in my top 25. Just too injury prone. Can't trust him. I have him at 27, actually. So, but number 18, I have Kenyon Drake. The Arizona Cardinals gave him the tag. They obviously believe in him. He had a good little, 5 or 6 games there in Arizona. And I think Kenyon Drake is bound to do kind of more of the same. Not get great numbers, but still get enough to get you a starting running back or even a flex in most games.
Okay, 18, I have Melvin Gordon.
Wow.
Not too much else to add off of Nick with Melvin Gordon. I think he's definitely in a timeshare here with Philip Lindsay, and we've seen Philip Lindsay is a good running back. So I could see Melvin sliding even into the RB3 range.
Really?
18 for me. I got someone that helped me win my fantasy championship last year. Big shout out to Chris Carson. Absolute stud of a running back. I got him down at 18 because it is PPR. He's not a great pass catcher on the backfield. And I'm worried about Carlos Hyde. Yes, I'm worried about Carlos Hyde. You seen last year in Houston, he had 1,000 yards rushing. He's a durable running back. He's going to get touches. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. Chris Carson is a great talent, but he's not a great pass catcher, and Carlos Hyde will have an impact on that offense.
Very interesting. I have both Melvin Gordon and Chris Carson a lot higher up, so very interesting there. I have Devin Singletary, number 17. Nick, you said it best. Very high potential for RB1 range. I imagine that he produces those kind of numbers in games against weak defenses such as the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets, along with other teams in their schedule. I imagine that Devin Singletary, in an offense that runs a lot more than what people think or what the preconceived notion is of that team, I imagine Devin Singletary does very well this year and has potential to be a top 10 running back this year.
Okay, 17. I'm putting Todd Gurley here. Todd Gurley, to put it short, he's damaged goods, but Atlanta will still use him. Atlanta will roll him in at the goal line, and he'll get touchdowns. We've seen him get a lot of touchdowns in the past few seasons. Even when he's been injury prone with the Rams last season, he got his touchdowns. So that's why he's here.
17 for me. I got Leonard Fournette.
Wow.
Not a big fan of Leonard Fournette. This is a guy who I was high on after his rookie year, but this is a guy that keeps falling for me. I'm off Leonard Fournette because his touchdowns. 2017 he had 10 total touchdowns. 2018 he had 6 total touchdowns, and in 2019 he had 3 total touchdowns. So you see a pattern here. He's gone from 10 to 6 to 3. Leonard Fournette, he's not that big touchdown back. In PPR, he's not a big pass catcher. I don't love the Jaguars' offense, even though Kip's high on Gardner Mania. I am putting Fournette down here. This is a guy I'm not very high on.
Leonard Fournette
He should be higher than he is with the talent, but he underperforms for my taste.
Leonard Fournette is at 26 for me, and I
don't see how that's possible.
Okay, you're gonna hate this, Kip. I don't think Leonard Fournette is in the league in 2 years.
Well, he's old.
He's old.
He's his 5th-year option.
Yeah, he's declined his 5th-year option. Yeah, he's barely been in the league. Listen, Leonard Fournette, I'm not a big fan. Production has gone down. They should have traded him when they had the chance because his value is only going to decline from here.
Agree. Yeah.
Leonard Fournette is a guy that, because he gets beat up so much, he's going to keep getting injured, and as he gets older, he's going to have twist ties for legs. And I I don't think he's in the league in 2 years. Hot take, but that's what I think.
Who do you got at 16? Garrett?
Oh, that's right. I'm up. David Montgomery is my number 16 pick.
Wow. Coming out of the top ropes here.
I think David Montgomery is set up to be a fantastic back this season. He was splitting time with what's his name? Tariq Cohen. Yeah, the pass catching back. But David Montgomery
circle meets the square.
And David Montgomery is a better running back in every sense of the word. Circle meets the square. That threw me off. He's a better running back in every sense of the word. He was competing for time there, and I said as the season goes on, he's going to get more touches. That's exactly what happened. Now this is his job, and in an offense with terrible quarterback play, but a pretty decent offensive line, I imagine that David Montgomery gets a lot of the touches and a lot of the offensive share there.
You guys aren't at all worried about Tariq Cohen in the passing game?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
David Montgomery's a better pass catcher, from what I see.
All right, Kip. 16, Kip.
16. Chris Carson. I'm putting Chris Carson at 16.
My boy, Chris Carson. That's what I like
love
to
the
see.
run offense. Yes, Mr.
Carlos
whatever the
Hyde.
heck his name, Hyde's in town, but Chris Carson has been very consistent. He's quietly put up over 1,000 yards and probably like 8 or 10 touchdowns in the past 2 seasons, which you're going to be very happy with that on your fantasy football team. So I would definitely draft him.
Agreed. 16 for me, Le'Veon Bell. This is a guy who I'll admit when I'm wrong. I was super high on Le'Veon Bell last year. I thought he was going to be like a top 6 running back. I failed on that one. I thought they would use him a lot more in that offense. He was only targeted 78 times last year, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. You know, he's a great pass catcher, and he was only targeted 78 times. You know, where's Adam Gase going? You know, I'd probably throw it to him a little bit more, but, you know, whatever. He only averaged just over 3 yards a carry, too. I think that'll go up. So I don't think he'll be as bad as he was last year. I think he's a middling RB2.